All right, what's going on, everybody? And welcome back to the All New Nerd podcast. And it has been maybe 3 weeks since the last proper podcast. And what a time
Too
to
long.
make a return.
It's been a bit.
What a time to make an entrance.
Probably is, I was saying to Levi earlier, probably the largest accumulation of Star Wars news to get out in one podcast, probably
Ever.
since the inception of the channel. Like, this is it. This weekend has been insane. For those that don't know, Star Wars Celebration.
Debatable, but yeah, I think.
I don't think debatable, man.
Investors Day? Investors Day was pretty big, though.
Maybe, yeah, no, but half those projects are not a real thing. So
Up in the air, but yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Okay, that is a fair debate. But obviously, Celebration this weekend. If you haven't been following the news somehow, we're gonna talk all about it. Mostly just give our thoughts.
Big
and,
fan.
Like, there's shows and there's new trailers and there's movie announcements, which is the really exciting part. And just I don't know, we can just get into it because there's a lot of stuff.
I don't even know where to start. Should we
I don't
go?
know
Should
where
we
to
go
start.
like? Should we?
Well, firstly,
Well, I mean,
if you want to see our literal live reactions to the thread, we were up in the middle of the night on Convor Call on Friday with Corey and a couple friends. And so you can see us if you want to see our literal reactions, and we have the Ahsoka trailer reactions as there yeah, so we were up in the middle of the night watching.
That's on the channel too. That's on the.
Watching the thread, watching the stuff come out, and then there was the legend of the kid who was filming inside the convention center.
Yeah, so we got to see some footage because Lucasfilm's a little stingy. They don't like to show it to the public, but we got our little grubby hands on it.
There was luckily a kid who was live streaming it. So
yeah, there's been some leaks. There's also we may or may not have definitely not screen recorded some of the things, so we'll be able to watch.
No, we didn't.
Definitely not. Again, some of the we definitely did not watch some of this behind the scenes stuff from.
We didn't go looking on Twitter. And then we found the videos and then screen record. We didn't
know. However,
we didn't.
The people there, they got to see Skeleton Crew, Acolyte, Andor Season 2. That build up to an Ahsoka trailer, and then we got the movie announcement. So just from the first day, let's just jump in there. We got a lot.
That was the biggest. I think that was the biggest day by far. I think no debate there. But yeah, I mean, so what was first? So that was...
Andor Season 2 was first.
I kind of want to talk about the movies first. We can get to the shows.
Sure. Movies.
Just jump right into this. Well,
top of the
First, I think I'm gonna pull up this image here because maybe some people haven't seen it.
Yeah, I this is probably the most exciting thing from Celebration.
It's just
from the first
image. This is the new timeline. The Dawn of the Jedi. We got Old Republic, High Republic.
We have,
I mean, obviously, a lot of the stuff we've known, but it's a little more named now, and it seems like I don't know. They're maybe going in a new format now, or they're just like this is the era that we're doing it in.
Yeah, branded by era. I love it.
It was also very visually, aesthetically pleasing anyway to see all they had all the aliens lined up too on stage. Like that was
I love that in the background
thing. But so this is the first time that we've seen officially in canon anyway the Old Republic.
Which is
labeled this way, and they did say Kathy said that we would get projects in all of these eras, so all of them. That's the reason why they're up there. Obviously, the Old Republic has existed for a while, as has Dawn of the Jedi, and we'll get to that. But this is the first time in canon on a timeline we're really seeing him this way. So for that Dawn of the Jedi symbol, that's in reference to James Mangold's film, but it's what I pointed out, and I think is still really interesting, is it's the Prime Jedi, which is on the floor of the Octo Academy. Luke's island, and I don't know. So that's 25,000 years before A New Hope. Long time.
Yeah, and all these logos are just super awesome. I like the Old Republic one and the New Jedi Order one.
New Jedi.
I mean, just to think though. I mean, like in terms of the live action animated stuff, I know there's a lot of book lore, but I mean, we've really only gotten like 5 of these in live action animation. And now we have like 4 other expansive eras that we're going to outreach to and get movies and shows. And
I would not count on an Old Republic show or movie anytime soon. I think that's years out.
Anytime soon, but I think that's definitely in the cards.
Yeah, down the line. Sure. There's the KOTOR remake is allegedly still happening.
Yeah,
so
hopefully if the game
that will probably be made canon. So we'll get our sort of. That'll be great. But so I mean, let's just start with the first era, Dawn of the Jedi, because that's one of the new movies that has been.
Well, like Levi was saying, so we got Dawn of the Jedi movie. So there is a novel though. There is a novel. I haven't read it. Levi, you've read it? Comics. Excuse me. Comics.
So there's a series of comics. So initially, this era stems from. So there's the Tales of the Jedi, which they obviously took the name from and used for the animated show. Yeah. And those initially were about 4,000 years before, but then in the late 2000s and early 2010s, they did a series called straight up Dawn of the Jedi, and that was explicitly about the origins of the Jedi and Sith, and how the Rakatan Empire, we heard that referenced in Andor, the Rakata, how that ties in the Star Forge and things like that you eventually see the seeds of in the Old Republic. If you played those games, you see like the leftovers of the Rakatan Empire. This is like Rakatan Empire's at their height. The Jedi, like it's the J apostrophe D A I. It's like Jedi. The Sith don't exist yet. It's Ashla, Bogan, and Tython are the like main Force using planets. The Ashla being the light side, Bogan dark side moon, Tython's in the middle. And it's just like the story is essentially
about where the gray Jedis live.
Well, no. The story is essentially about people discovering how to use the Force and the philosophies of both the light and dark side developing for the first time. And so it is explicitly, I mean, it's in the same time period as those comics. It seems to be about a similar story. We don't know if it's a straight adaptation. It would stand to reason that some of those elements.
Yeah, that's my question. It
would stand to reason that some of those elements would be in it because,
of course,
and we can talk about that. James Mangold is also a comic fan. He's making Swamp Thing. He's like big Swamp Thing guy. He's writing
Swamp Thing and a Star Wars movie. That's a dream career.
I think it's not crazy if he can. Like, he seems like the guy who's willing to do the research and read comics.
Oh, absolutely.
He could read 30 comics or whatever for Dawn of the Jedi.
There's not a ton of.
No, it's just two. Right? It's just two of these little books on this shelf. It's just two of them.
Yeah, right on the shelf. Obviously James Mangold is doing the indie movie. James Gold is doing the Indy $5 Destiny. So I'm excited to see how that comes out. We got a new trailer, which we'll get to, but I think he seems like someone who's very tied to Lucasfilm. So I think
he tried to make a Boba Fett movie in the past.
That's true.
He's been talking to Lucasfilm for a while, and we were talking a little bit before the show. Ben, I think, was showing some. We both were showing some reasonable skepticism about which one of these will these actually come out. But when you really think all of them through, I think Mangold, he's been trying to work with Lucasfilm for a while. He has a close relationship with Kathy. He already made Indy. If Indy does well, which I imagine it will do, at least it will. Even. Like I don't see why he's always finished out his projects. He's never abandoned a project to the top of my head.
Not that I know of, no.
So I'm confident we can get into the other ones too. Like,
I this honestly was the one that I think
I was
the most because it's the newest one or at least the freshest idea. Because I feel like obviously we knew the Mandoverse was building to something and same thing we were hoping for some Rey continuation, but this one is like I feel like this one came not out of left field, but
not necessarily. And we've sort of had a theory about this. Kathy's sort of contradicted it already by saying Taika's is still in development. But way back when Taika's was announced at that Investor Day, it was announced with this concept art and this old logo style that was people immediately went, "Oh, this is about the origin of the Jedi."
Style.
That's what this is about.
I remember that.
And they saw the thing that looked like the Thoyor, sort of the triangle looking thing, and we're like,
I remember that.
This is Dawn of the Jedi. And then the fact that is explicitly what this new project is, and to tie it into the Rey film, we're talking about will these projects actually come out? That movie, like say Rogue One, has already had its one director the whole time, but it's gone through a couple writers, and no matter what, even if people are leaving the project, creatives are exiting, these movies are still moving forward.
Happening.
They're still happening,
which is very exciting. So I hope James ends up directing it, but we'll see. And like you just said, Taika's movie, if whatever he's doing, I don't know.
I'm not so sure I buy into it because it seems though James has a very sort of specific vision for this movie, and he did talk to Screen Rant right after the Lucasfilm showcase announced, and he sort of delved into it a little bit, and just seems as though he really had this idea. The question being, where did the Force begin? Where did it all begin? And I think he said something about it being sort of akin to a Ten Commandments story, like a biblical epic, where it's going to be going through sort of like just the origins of the Force. So sort of interested to see how that's going to like frame up, if it's going to be about one character or sort of, I don't know. It could be very interesting.
I feel like a biblical epic like kind of gives like a lot going on, like
it's very it's very open, and obviously the most vague, and which is maybe why we have some reservations about whether or not it's going to get made. But I am more confident than movies in the past.
I hope. Yeah.
But either way, it is certainly not going to be the first or the second movie out of the 3 announced to come. I think we can all agree on that one.
That'll be the farthest one out for sure.
I think so as well.
Yeah, but
the one that's
I'm very excited for this one, but we can move on.
But yeah, well, the one that's closer, as Levi is going to say, is going to be
Chinoy, the Rey one.
Rey movie.
Ray one.
Which is nuts that's real. I can't.
Crazy.
I just want to point out that Rey coming out on stage, or Daisy Ridley, and just talking and just getting the warm response from the crowd, and it was a very emotional moment.
Made me cry.
The whole weekend was emotional. I feel like
no, but a lot of people felt different.
But no, but this was special.
If you go back and watch the stream, I think me and Levi were the only ones that were like, "This is the most exciting news." And
it was about the way it happened too.
I was reacting. I said it was exciting.
No, the most though. I think easily out of everything they talked about this weekend, this is the thing I'm most excited for. And I'm not even a sequel fan, but I am just so excited that Daisy's going to get another chance, and I think that this is a much better story. I mean, this is almost more similar to what we thought the OT was. The sequel trilogy was going to be. All the way back with with George, where it's going to be like Luke is building the Jedi Order. They sort of skipped that with the sequel trilogy until he'd already failed. So I'm excited to see Rey sort of build it up.
Now we're getting in Mando though. We're having our cake and eating it too.
I'm more excited, but yes, Daisy Ridley coming back, Rey coming back, so excited about that. I'm excited about how it's a new era and it's 15 years after Rise of Skywalker, and there's so much story to play with it within there, for sure.
Yeah, they're leaving themselves a big window for more TV shows and stuff. Though I do think it's going to be a little awkward when Daisy looks the exact same, and they're going to be like, "Oh, it's 15 years."
I mean, you don't know. She may like.
I don't think
at least you age her up. Yeah, I think she'll look different.
15 years is a long time, but
it is. It's true. I think you might have been saying this, Ben, but it feels like Force Awakens all over again, which I definitely agree with.
It's come full circle.
It's exciting.
It's probably been nearing around 10 years since we found out there's going to be another Star Wars movie.
Almost exactly.
Yeah.
Right around now is when the acquisition of Disney.
It was over 10 years ago now.
But yeah. But in terms of there's a new movie coming out right around now. It's been about a decade, and we're ramping up.
Excited, I'm just more excited about the prospects of. Sorry,
I'm just more excited about. Okay, well, who's gonna go here?
You go.
I think it seems that it's going to be 2025, most likely, when this movie comes out.
Yeah, this will be the first.
There's about a month and a half. A final script is presumed to be ready.
Kathy has said it's the final script is within.
The final script is about to be presented.
Stephen Knight.
Stephen Knight, writer of
Peaky
Blinders, if not all of it.
Yeah, he created the show. He's everything on that show.
And so obviously that I feel very strongly that's going to be great. Love Peaky Blinders and
a lot of pedigree.
So that's great, and that script is going to be done soon. So 2025, a decade after Force Awakens, sort of all coming full circle.
Let's talk about the story.
One more thing. Yeah, well, story implications. But I wanted to say, I'm more excited about who could also come back within the sequel timeline. Like Finn, in my mind, is a must.
I don't know if you've seen the quote, but when asked about returning characters, Kathy said, "Yes, very much so. We will see familiar faces." So, I think it's almost assured that we will see the rest of the sequel cast. And this is what I had been pulling for so long, is that you can do this story and not have it be part of the Skywalker saga. Like the Skywalker, the Skywalker saga can be those 9 movies about this thing, and then you can continue that story. Like obviously the world will still persist, and I don't know if you also saw this, but it'll have a crawl. Kathy said it'll have a crawl, and you don't need to have it be an episode. Like it's just part of Star Wars because it exists in this world, and I don't think it's contradictory. That era is the Return of the Sith and Palpatine coming back, and what happened during that time in the Empire, and that's that can still be the saga, and you can still tell more stories, and this makes me so excited. Because as Ben was saying, this is what I'm most excited for, because it's also just to to get a new take, to have where you no longer have the burden of this is 7, 8, and 9. You don't have that anymore. You don't have to think about, okay, how is this going to impact Luke Skywalker? That didn't work for some people, it worked for others. How is this going to impact Han Solo or Leia or whatever it may be? This is just, you have complete creative license now to tell a story. And from what I heard, because footage has been sparse still from like the actual plot details, but she's trying to rebuild the Jedi Order, and there's some new threat to, like, I think like the Force is the way they phrased it.
No, a new threat.
Which I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what that could be.
Always a new threat.
And obviously, the new Jedi Order in Legends is evocative of the Yuuzhan Vong and an extragalactic invasion and new things threatening the whole galaxy. Go? I'm just saying that is what the new Jedi Order, much like how Dawn of the Jedi has a Legends counterpart, the NJO. This is the Yuuzhan Vong. Like, that's what that evokes. So it like that could happen.
I could counter that with another idea, but keep going.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I think that could even be. I mean, we don't know for sure, but I think that could even be what this Filoni movie is. This is like the big galactic war, or whatever happens with all these shows.
Yuuzhan Vong?
Maybe the collective effort could be.
I don't think they're going.
How does that make any sense, though?
I mean,
it's not what they've been building up.
The Filoni movie would take place like almost 40 years before this Rey movie.
No, I know. I think it could.
I don't think all that could have happened in between the OT and the sequels and it not have been mentioned. If there was another extra galactic war happening.
So if to rope in the Filoni thing, obviously Filoni is doing the finale to the Mandoverse, and as it's been framed, it's the Imperial Remnant versus the New Republic, and but further bridging what happens to the New Republic and establishing the political scene between the two movies. And as long as you're keeping it, with some light spoilers they saw episode 7 at Celebration, so there are spoilers for episode 7. So if you don't want to be spoiled for episode 7, light spoilers here. In that episode, they talk about Project Necromancer, and Hux is there talking about cloning, and Project Necromancer
not
Brendel Hux, his dad. But it's very, very, very clearly, like, they're talking about Palpatine. Like, they're establishing the connectivity between the two, and it's keeping within the context of the First Order and that conflict. So I don't think they would do a whole. Everything that's happening there is Empire versus New Republic, and that thread just continues for those 30 years, and that's what Filoni's hitting on.
It's not going to end well for the New Republic,
and it doesn't end well. And so this new era, that could be it could be anything. Like,
they're going to have to come up with a new threat. What is Rey going to have to deal with? And I don't know. I think it seems likely if they are building up to this, like, extra galactic stuff, it's going to happen post sequel trilogy. I don't think there's any time for that in the current, like, Mandoverse.
Yeah.
But to be fair, though, the Filoni stuff is, the shows are happening now and they're building up, but we don't know when this, like,
they're building to something ultimately that's already happened, if that makes any sense.
True. Mm-hmm. True.
Like
no matter, it's pretty obvious what they're building. I mean, we know Thrawn is showing up in Ahsoka, per the Ahsoka trailer. And we know it's going to be
Thrawn will obviously, because it's a great. Honestly, I love the lore discussion, because this Ahsoka trailer opens up so much. I felt this show. I almost said movie, but Ahsoka feels like a saga entry with how much is seemingly going on. And the line in the trailer from Balin that I think encapsulates my feeling on the whole weekend, as he just says, "This is a new beginning." Clearly, he's a villain. I don't know anything about him. He's a Jedi of dark Jedi. Not a Sith, because Dave says he's like, the orange lightsaber means something. That orange saber thing is on purpose. They're not Sith. They're like, there's something else there. And Shin, his apprentice, has like a Padawan braid, and it's like, what's up with that? So, and on stage now, she's talking about how they think they're in the right, and so it makes me think they're like straight up dark Jedi, like in Legends. But anyway, the point is, these are just straight up new characters. Like, we've never heard of them before. They've just invented them for this, thereby expanding. Like, it's that perfect mix of, this is just completely new for this era, and the world is now so much more open, because you really do have 30 years to play. But point being is, no matter what happens with Thrawn, he comes back ultimately defeated. That doesn't go well for Thrawn. It's not going to end well, because it's going to be the First Order faction that ultimately takes down the New Republic, not Thrawn. It's all just context for the sequel trilogy. That's what this is. Yeah. Whereas this new thing can be whatever the hell it wants to be. It can be literally anything. I think that's where it's a little bit different for me.
They're certainly like limited to what they can do in that time period and where we know things are going to pick up in Force Awakens.
Sorry, but I brought up Baylan and Shin because they're these new dark side users, because I think as a fandom, or at least as me personally as a fan, I sort of forgot the joy of just something entirely unconnected and new as like the villains. Like Kylo Ren was obviously the son of Han Solo and Leia. Like it connected. It was always like, what is the legacy of this thing? But in this new era, they can invent something. It can be whatever. And I don't know.
Well, they even could be connected to our current set of characters we have now. But you never know.
But it doesn't have to. It doesn't have to be anymore.
It doesn't have to be. You're right.
Completely new. And it's got me excited, man. New beginning.
I know, and I agree. I feel like we might as well just transition to Ahsoka super quick. But I think what you said about it being like a saga entry is really interesting, because I feel like the show is huge. I mean, like, it's not only is it like a Rebels continuation, but it's like it's a major piece in this eventual Mandoverse, which will then also, obviously, I mean, Thrawn being the major component.
Quick asterisk for movie for this discussion. We will be talking with the foreknowledge of the screen recorded extra trailer that we definitely did not see. We definitely didn't see it. With all that extra footage in there, we definitely didn't see it, but we will be. But
it was not recorded. We didn't see it.
But we heard about it, and so we're going to talk about it. Because there's some good stuff in that extra trailer.
There's some good stuff. Well, I mean, maybe let's touch upon the Filoni movie really quick. But I mean, Filoni movie. So excited that he's directing a movie. Dave, I think Dave deserves it very much. I'm very excited. I think I've already loved his episodes that he's done now. But even just I'm very excited to see the actual Ahsoka show, and I think that'll be a good tell on his quality as a director. I already think he's a great director, but just him doing a feature length movie is.
Ben was worried.
We've been very positive.
I know you're worried about it. Yeah,
I have one little stink. More so the fact that I just don't completely have faith in Filoni as a director just yet, in terms of directing a full length feature film. Now, it is very possible this is going to be sort of like a straight to Disney Plus type deal. Maybe a short.
John is EP, by the way. I didn't know that before, but he's been announced as EP.
Which I mean, that's
makes sense.
It's just Dave is an EP and writer. I'm all for it. I just directing a TV show that you sort of has been a well-oiled machine the whole way through. I know he did the first episode, but still, it's sort of been very much a group process, and Dave is sort of the guiding hand there. So I'm glad that he's going to be EP on it, but. I don't know. I think as a director, he's slightly unproven, and to hand him a Star Wars movie is like daunting.
But I think those creatives are going to come up with him, because this is kind of
well, that's my point. Is that
I like to a degree.
He's a great creative, but I'm talking more in a technical side of things, and of how he's going to direct and shape a movie up. He's inexperienced. He's not directed a movie unless you count the Clone Wars movie, which I don't. So,
well, I disagragree with your premise that. I think technically he's very strong. However, I think the 30 minute chain of events that gives me confidence in it, because I understand where your apprehension is coming from, is that Dave Filoni, he's showrunner of Ahsoka. They show on stage then that trailer. In the trailer, Ahsoka literally says the words "heir to the Empire." Yeah. Everyone's like, "What the hell, heir to the Empire?" Like, okay, they're just really getting explicit with it. And trailer ends. Then they bring out Dave Filoni and say Dave Filoni is directing a culmination movie of these events. That's got to be
and
heir to the Empire.
Thus far, we have seen Luke deep faked and seeming to have a bigger role going forward.
Which means to me, to finish the point, that whoever, like, the reason they gave him that and they have that heir to the Empire line there is because what they've seen so far from what he did, they are really, really confident. And happy with. So. And obviously, Ahsoka looks great.
Makes me excited and confident.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, we don't know how many.
I meant, for the record, I didn't mean the Yu Zhong Vong thing as kind of a food for thought. I think that, because that is, kind of the post Return of the Jedi story. But I think, or a little later actually.
But now I think post Return of the Jedi story is basically post.
But I think it's pretty safe to say it's an Heir to the Empire movie.
No, absolutely. I would be shocked if we don't see Luke
insane that that's a thing
following a similar story and almost certainly, young Kylo will be involved in some extent. Like,
yeah, I mean, I think they're gonna
it's gonna be
pull
a
out all the
loose
stuff. I mean,
adaptation. I mean, you're bringing in Thrawn, like you already have a deep fake Luke, and then you get to sprinkle in like Ahsoka and Mando and Bo and the Mandalorians. That like it's gonna be a blend of the two. And
I think it's the other way around though. I think, and that's the way I've always been envisioning it. When we talk about this culmination, is that it's going to be Ahsoka and Mando and whomever else, skeleton crew. They will be the Han, Luke, Leia, Talon Karrde, etc. of Heir to the Empire, and then we'll have the main characters sprinkled in, and it'll be Ahsoka who's the quote unquote Luke. Luke will also be there in a supporting role, cameo role, and I'll be off doing more important stuff in the context.
Well, I don't know about cameo role. I think
I don't see I see them as being maybe in there for like 10 minutes. If it's a movie, I see them being like there 10-15 minutes. But I don't see the OT characters as being main characters. I see them as supporting a side of the story that we can follow.
I will say so far,
because it doesn't make any sense to shift from a movie like two different characters.
Well, I know, but there's a lot of shows that are going to come out in between then and now. Like,
I will say like so far they've been kind of just, they have been side characters, like you said. They have been, kind of pushing other people's narratives further, which I think that track record obviously would make sense for what their roles would be in the movie. But we have, like Ben said, we have a lot more shows to go. So
at a minimum, we have
having a bigger
most likely another season of Mandalorian and Ahsoka and Skeleton Crew. At a minimum, those 3 entries.
Yeah. They'll probably do another new show.
I would expect, a season 2 of Ahsoka, or season 2 of Skeleton Crew, or another season of Mando.
Rosario.
I think Ahsoka's gonna make. Yeah, I heard that on the Celebration stage. I think Ahsoka's gonna do very well for them. So I
don't know if you guys. Yeah, I don't know if you guys have seen, but the one trailer, even the YouTube trailer, has alone like 10 million views in the first like 2 days, which greatly outpaces Mando, Fallen Order, or any of the trailers that were released.
Well, do you remember there was this whole fear about an Ahsoka show?
Oh, yeah. I think I've been pushing.
Yeah, it was us. It was us. Yeah, we pushed fear.
Me and Levi.
We were afraid.
I still am.
No, I was afraid. I was afraid, but I'm fully confident now.
I am still a little afraid. I know the trailer's been doing great, but
I think it's just that good.
More of an audience retention thing.
I think so as well.
We'll see.
Because let's talk about, in the trailer we definitely didn't watch. You see there's a shot where you see Sabine fighting, to go back to Baylan and Shin, and they're who I'm really interested in because they're new. And they're woven throughout this whole trailer. And you see Shin fighting Sabine with long hair with Ezra's green lightsaber. It's like, I see that, and even if I didn't know, I obviously I don't know Shin. The people who do know Sabine, it's like, okay, that's Sabine. But even we know Sabine, she looks so different. She's got long hair. She's in a different state we're not familiar with. It's going to be, I think, new enough because it's a new part of these characters' lives. And to someone who doesn't know either, there's 2 lightsaber wielders that looks badass in this crazy fight. I want to watch that.
I can see it appealing, but I just want to point out already I've seen, not in like the Star Wars fan space, but just more among the general population of people being confused at the season of The Mandalorian, and even season 2 didn't hit as well with a lot of people. Where it's like, I don't know if thus far they've done a great job making sure everyone feels included, because I think there is a lot of like.
I think that's because Mandalorian hasn't been explicit in the fact that when season 2 ended, that was, and we've talked about this, it was a theory for a long time, but that really was the end of that show. That was the end of that arc of
the kid. The Grogu
arc. That was the end.
Yeah,
but then they never said that.
Exactly, they never said that though. But so as
explicitly,
Star Wars fans, as we watch Boba, as we watch Mando 3 each week, and as Bo-Katan takes a more prominent role, as Boba Fett has certain signs, as Cad Bane comes in, and we debate about it. But as fans, we understand what and why is happening. Because these are just episodes of Star Wars, but they haven't been explicit about rebranding. Whereas Ahsoka is just straight up. I think Dave knows what he's doing. I think Dave is like.
I agree, and I will say about Mando though, like a few people have emphasized especially during Celebration, that like the Mandalorian title is becoming larger than just Din. like it's kind of encompassing all the Mandos we're getting to see now. So it's kind of a
listen,
looser
all
title.
that is fine, but it's all in the execution. And thus far, it's not even that they're not being explicit about it; they're ignoring it. Like there is nothing in season 3, episode 1 of Mando in the recap that they do not show Book of Boba Fett.
Which they do, but it's just not what you.
I mean, barely. Like not enough to fill in someone. On what has happened. I know.
I think we said it before. I've run into people being like, "I'm confused."
People are confused. They're like, "I thought Grogu went." Like, no one was ever like, "You must go and watch the Book of Boba Fett." That was not clear. And even if they did, they would go and watch the first 4 episodes, and they're like, "Why am I watching this? It's not related to the Mandalorian." It's been mishandled, in my opinion. I've been saying this for quite some time. I think it works great for super fans like us. For the general public, it worries me, in terms of how things are going to perform. But I don't know.
But what I'm trying to say,
but I agree with you. But I think Ahsoka's a much.
There's enough new elements even to us as super fans because we just don't know this part of the story. That we'll sort of be we'll have an enhanced experience, but we're still on more of an even playing field than like the Mandalorian stuff.
But the difference there is that Ahsoka is already like is a animation character that's been around for more than a decade. Like
exactly. Well, that also plays to it is that she is 15 years old at this point. She's sort of she's a Star Wars mainstay. Like
I know, but at least I know for fans. But my point is, at least
I'm
the
talking about
Mandalorian was something new. I mean, I know a lot of people that watch the Mandalorian that haven't even seen Star Wars. Like it's like
I mean that's that's fair.
I don't know. It does like concern me a little bit. It's not even just Ahsoka. It's just the general direction that things are going, where I never wanted Star Wars to become the MCU, where it's like if you you don't watch something, you're missing something, and that has been very like they've been very forward about that through the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe, where it's like you gotta go see this, the end credit scenes, and it's like this is the next entry, like this character will return in this movie, like they say that at the end of the movies, and it's like what you're getting into when you get into it, and that has just been
we've had this debate endlessly,
and it's been avoided. I know, but I mean, it's
because
I agree with what you're saying, but
it's more relevant now with this Ahsoka trailer because, to Levi's point, I think people seeing a Jedi Weds show is exciting, and that's like okay.
I think just seeing lightsabers.
I like Jedi. I know that's what I'm saying. Like they're like
in these shows,
a lightsaber led show.
I think there were 4 separate lightsaber fights in the trailer.
Yeah, but if anything, I feel like Acolyte would draw people in more, and that like front. It's like
because I mean it's all about the Jedi. So I mean,
I would just feel slightly overwhelmed coming in with no knowledge of it and being like, oh yeah, come watch this TV show. But it is about a character that has probably 100 hours of on-screen time and like has this entire arc. But but like just watch it and you'll get it.
Well,
and I'm
going back to the debate about people not being like filled in. I think season 2 of Mando did actually a pretty good job at that. I think it gave it a basic enough knowledge so that you kind of know what's going on. I agree that obviously there's a lot more expansive lore, of course, but I go the real mix up was with Boba, like you've been saying. But I think I'm very confident in Dave's ability to.
Yeah, let's talk about Ahsoka. Let's talk about the
set up things. Yeah, I think I'm very confident in his ability to set up things and have his stuff play out in these episodes, and explain it for fans, but also explain it for general audiences. I think he's specifically he's done a very good job at that. So I'm very confident in.
I mean, I know Levi wants to move on. I'm going to say I don't know if that's true. Like the Jedi, like where is Grand Admiral Thrawn? Like what? Like I guarantee you, hundreds of thousands of people were just like, huh? Like who? Like it's a horrible line. It's not. That is not a good line. I'm sorry. It's like who? That is not good for a general audience. So I don't know.
I don't forget about general audience right now. I want to talk about the show. I want to talk about what all the crazy stuff.
We went down something, but yeah.
I want to talk about the way it just feels so
I don't know.
Expansive. Every single shot, I was like, this is a new just window into the universe. I'm watching Hera and Chopper in the Phantom like doing something. I'm like, this is nuts. And you see, I don't know if you saw this, but Kaz is you guys haven't seen Resistance, but Kaz Kazuda Xiono, the main character of that show, his dad is a senator in the New Republic, and he's in the trailer too. He's with Mon Mothma.
No.
Like, and it's like,
that was him.
Oh no.
No, yeah, but it's a cool connection.
No Kaz.
No, Kaz is a child at this point. It's his dad.
Yeah,
He's the senator. But like the fact that
no Kaz.
All right.
Well, dang, we really cut that combo short. Well, yeah. Anyways, I'll gush about Ahsoka as well. Yeah, probably the best trailer I've ever seen in at least for Star Wars TV. Insane.
Yeah.
Insane.
I think it is very is a very good sign of how much we saw in that trailer compared to the other Mando trailers in terms of like what we know for each Mando trailer. They show us a certain amount, and then we know what they have sort of in their back pocket.
But like, Mando's super vague. Mando's super vague.
Well, no, that's my point. Is that if the trailers only show 5% of what they have in store for the season, and they got something up their sleeve, I'm thinking Ahsoka's going with the same approach. I think that we saw like 5% of what they have to offer. Like if that, and Dave, we know like is very like non-spoiler, like spoiler
reverse.
Yeah, he values that. Yeah,
he loves to just let everything be there when you watch it. So if all that is what he felt comfortable putting in the trailer, I think we're gonna see absolutely.
And for probably the best Star Wars show that has come out, I'm pretty confident in saying that. I people forget. I mean, Hayden's supposed to be in the show too, so I don't know where that could go. I have ideas, but it's even just the merit of that on top of everything else we've seen in the trailer alone.
I'm surprised.
Unbelievably exciting.
They didn't bring him out because
I know because he was there, and I was like, I was weirded out.
So far, it's only been reported by Hollywood Reporter and the trades. So it's like it's official. Like
it's official. Yeah, no,
it's like we think he's in the show, but actually I don't know. Actually, I see where Dave's coming from with that one. There could be.
I know. Okay, well, I'm just
because it comes out only in 4 months.
To wrap it back around, being like appealing to the masses. You bring out Hayden Christensen, you're like, oh yeah, he's gonna be in this. That's gonna sell people. That's like, oh, I remember him from the prequels. I'll watch that. So I think they should have like him coming back for Kenobi was the big surprise. Like, oh, Hayden's back. Like I think we're all expecting it with Ahsoka. It just makes sense. Like, bring him out and don't show him in a trailer, but like. Bring him out on stage and be like, hey.
I think it would have taken away from introducing the new cast. So I'm actually glad that they didn't because
speaking of
Lars got a moment.
Yeah, let's say speaking of bringing out,
they got a moment.
Lars.
Announcing the Hera casting, it was huge, and she looks great.
And Lars is don't sleep on Lars being confirmed.
No, I was getting there. Yeah, Lars as well.
Been reported by the trades for quite some time.
So happy that it's Lars. My goodness.
We were all pretty confident. But
the biggest surprise announcement was the Kevin the Kiner scoring it. That's amazing. That is the icing on the cake.
Most surprising.
That is the icing on the cake that makes it literally perfection.
Yeah,
I mean,
shout out to the Kiners.
I'm very excited for the music
and live action work because that's great.
Yeah, huge congrats to them.
They're coming with Dave.
Talking to them on Calmer Call about Bad Batch, and little did I know, I did not know they were doing Ahsoka, but now I do, and
what Dave said on stage is what we've been saying the whole time. He said it just makes sense. Like these guys have been doing these characters for years. Kevin specifically has been doing Ahsoka since the start. It's like, who else should score this? It has to be them. Like they have.
I thought about that too in the back of my mind. I'm like, who else would it be? But over the moon.
I can see they bringing
Ludwig back
for
that.
But
it's just another layer of like this is. Everything is going right for the show, but
this is the Clone Wars Rebels,
it's really the Rebels.
This show is like everything that specifically, I guess our generation grew up with Star Wars wise. Like this is
it is
the culmination of all that stuff. It's insane.
We aren't so sure about the Clone Wars stuff. Hopefully, there's going to be a lot of Clone Wars stuff in there.
Well, I think Clone Wars in the sense that it's Ahsoka.
I mean, Ahsoka, yeah.
Sure, but at this point, I feel like Ahsoka.
And wherever that could go,
we're seeing is much more of Rebels Ahsoka. But I mean, even that being said,
well, I think.
I don't know, man. They gotta touch on Clone Wars.
Yeah, I think what Johnny's getting at, and what I would also get at, is if we've seen Zeb, we've seen Hera, we've seen. Yes. I hope we get. I hope we get Old Man Rex.
But that's public. They've been saying I hope. Yeah, obviously.
That's what I'm saying. That's the Clone Wars thing. It's like Old Man Rex.
Yeah, they should this is a show for Clone Wars fans as well. Yeah.
No, I'm just. I would call this show a Rebels continuation.
You're right.
Clone Wars.
No, it's not. No, it's not a Clone Wars.
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, you just said that, so.
No, he said it was. No, that's not what he said.
You said it was a continuation of the shows you grew up with, which is true.
Which it is, yeah, it is. But this is the Rebels sequel, though. Yeah, but this is a Rebels.
This is the Rebels.
This is the show. This is a show for those.
It's for our fans. It's everything we grew up with. I 100% agree. Like this is all the elements.
So
because speaking of another Rebels,
I know I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna scream. Like I'm so ready.
Another Rebels element, which I did not expect to see in this, was seemingly the 8th brother from Malachor alive. Because you don't actually see his death, you just see the saber like explode. And he's a Drellian Django jumper, and they can survive, long falls, like that's established in canon. And that like looks like him. I'm pretty sure it's him. He's using an Inquisitor. Yeah, he's got an Inquisitor's blade. It literally is the same helmet.
He looks like an Inquisitor.
Like it looks. He has the same exact helmet.
I was thinking Barriss Offee, but
no,
it's definitely not Barriss Offee.
I don't think it's Barriss.
It's an alien. I mean, sorry. You can see you can see in the extended trailer. You can see the hands. It's the same number of fingers as 8th brother. The feet are split the same way as 8th brother. He's the same. He's got the same mask. I mean, it's the same outfit. Like he's wearing.
I didn't see that trailer.
Yeah, well, yeah, you did. Yeah, you definitely did not see that trailer for sure.
I definitely didn't see that trailer. Yeah. I definitely didn't forget that shot.
But it looks very clearly. So
yes.
No, I think I understand. That's my bad. However, though, Barriss Offee, I do think will be in the show in some capacity. I hope.
Well, there was the Funko.
Or the Funko leak. The alleged.
Was the Funko leak? And it would make sense. I mean, it's also huge character in
that Barriss continuation
plot,
for quite some time now.
Because Dave keeps teasing it. Oh, Tails. Tails 2.
Tails 2.
We haven't even gotten to that yet. Crazy.
I was
weekend.
I'm talking about Tails for a second.
No, I want to keep talking about
Tails season 2.
No, I want to
keep talking about Ahsoka. I'll keep talking about Ahsoka.
Because
I think overall Ahsoka just like it's coming out in August, so
yeah, no.
Super excited by that. And I just
favorite shots in the trailer though. What's your favorite part of the trailer?
Lothal shots.
The T6, the T6 flying by the original like Rebels, season 1 Ep 1 tower.
Shots were so good.
Oh,
well, I gotta say, you mentioned that the one shot of Ahsoka and Sabine standing on the bridge, that is not what.
Yeah.
I like what I'm seeing, like overall, like the idea of it, but the green screen / volume was very obvious there. I'm hoping that with a few more months of post, it cleans up a little bit.
The shot of the trailer that definitely didn't get leaked out. The part where there's a speeder bike driving away from Lothal. Definitely, that was not one of my favorite shots.
I thought it looked good.
I don't know, dude. It looks a little green screeny / volume-y.
No, actually, I will say there was one shot that I didn't like, and it was the Heir to the Empire shot when Ahsoka says Heir to the Empire. That background composition of the background looks really weird.
I'm sure there's stuff they do in post to sort of clean up the volume a little
bit.
But
it's early. I mean, we're
I won't overjudge it. I'm just saying you said all the Lothal stuff looked good. I had to butt in. I don't think that one shot wasn't great.
Well, I want to sort of banish a misconception I've been seeing online. I got to set the record straight for any fans who watch this. Is that is not an incorrect recreation of the epilogue. That is just a different scene. I've seen a lot of people talking about how
actually that is a great point. People have been saying like they're just changing it. No,
I don't understand that. Ahsoka's clearly a different outfit. Sabine is like it's a whole different like area. She has long hair. Like clearly it's long not hair. Clearly it's not the same moment.
And Ahsoka doesn't Ahsoka literally say things have changed?
Yeah, things changed. Things have changed. Yeah. Like clearly this is a different moment. And the vibe I'm sort of getting is that Sabine is seemingly like the vibe I'm getting is that Sabine, with the long hair and stuff, like there's gonna be a scene where she cuts it, and then at the end of the epilogue of Rebels, when she's like, it's finally time to go. Like in this moment now, it seems like she's kind of out of it. Like she's looking at the helmet, like she seems kind of like
I think she's unarmed. You think this is before the epilogue?
Yeah, this is before.
I think
definitely before the epilogue.
Yeah.
Well, it would just
because we do have that picture, and that's that picture of her,
and we know that they did the epilogue again because we've seen that shot too. So it's like I don't get why. Yes, I don't get why people are.
I do understand the confusion because they do look. I will say they do look similar, but
fair. But I think kind of. But no.
I don't agree with it. I don't agree
on like a bridge in a city. Like that is obviously not what is going down. And
Either way, I just want to put out there that don't worry. I don't think Dave is going to retcon his own scene for some reason, even though it doesn't make any sense.
We know that they shot that shot because
it's in the trailer. It was in the trailer,
and the wall was at Celebration.
And the wall is at Celebration.
The wall is at Celebration.
This is not like insider knowledge like that we saw. Well, technically it is because we saw it in the teaser at last Celebration. But like, come on, guys, we're good. Don't worry. Dave is not going to change Rebels.
Another misconception. I mean, you mentioned the orange sabers, but I have seen people just losing their minds about these sabers, and they're like, "Why do they look like that? Like
the wrong color?
They're the wrong color." So obviously, there's a shot of Balon with the orange saber, and then it cuts away to Ahsoka fighting the Inquisitor, and it's red. Like it's
not a mistake. Yeah,
it's not a mistake. It's one frame to the next frame. There's one orange. And one is
red. I was on the red train. Right first,
very obviously they can do the red saber because there is a character that has one that looks just like every other red saber.
So technically they are orangey red according to Dave, but the point
I'll go blood orange.
Yeah, they're blood orange. But the point that it's like some sort of mistake, Ben is absolutely right. It's not a mistake. Dave just said it was
very intentional.
The mistake angle I always thought was kind of silly. Like that doesn't.
But to talk about my favorite shot of the trailer, it's right before it cuts to this summer. It's the shot reverse shot of like it looks like the bridge of a Mon Calamari ship, and like the captain is getting up, and it cuts to Shin like slashing the blades, and she like slashes the camera. Wow, that was cool. The intensity on that's what I'm talking about. These two new characters, man. Something about them, like I think it's
their armors are
the armor like it looks cool. It's like medieval. Very, we said this on the stream, but it's just visually stunning. And I think it also has to do with the fact that Ray Stevenson is a super imposing,
the GOAT,
great actor, and Ivana Sakano also has like with she just looks terrifying with her armor, and she's moving so fast.
They had great interviews too. They made me even more excited about through their Celebration interviews on the main stage.
And I think from the way this trailer is cut, I'm also just excited about getting a proper villain. Like an actual villain for a show. Like obviously Thrawn is one of the bad guys.
A villain with a lightsaber too
and we see Morgan Elsbeth in the trailer too. But these are villain. Like for Mando, in the Mando trailers, we literally don't see bad guys. We're like, oh, where's Moff Gideon? Oh, he's not in it the last two episodes.
We haven't even got Moff Gideon in this season yet. And there's 2 more episodes.
Yeah, it's like we'll never see him. Moff Gideon will never be in any advertising. So Mando just doesn't have villains. This show already has like 5 villains. And Star Wars, what I love so much about Star Wars is the villain. Darth Maul, Kylo Ren, Darth Vader. Like the villains are iconic.
Star Wars has some good villains.
They're iconic. And so for them to be so confident, to have so many, like we're going to have antagonists.
There's like 4, kind of.
Right?
5 at this point. Oh, 5,
the 5, 5. So I'm like, this is true. Like someone to fight, someone to beat. It's not just it's Moff Gideon again. In the end of each season, it's like
people have been like, this Mandoverse or these kind of all these shows so far have like been lacking lightsabers, which I agree to a certain point, but I think you're getting it now. So I hope people won't still be feeling that way. Because just this trailer alone, we saw 1, 2.
And the one we definitely didn't see,
we saw 5 or 6 lightsabers.
Yeah, and the one we definitely didn't see, we saw 4 lightsaber fights, separate lightsaber fights, and that's in the trailer.
That's in the trailer. Yeah, I know. That's god, this show's gonna be so good, dude.
What do you guys think about Sabine picking up her lightsaber training again with Ezra's saber? We know Kanan taught her with the dark saber.
Sabine with the green.
I think it makes sense. I mean, at the end of the show, Ezra gives her the saber.
I think it's a dope idea.
It's not the craziest leap.
I just wonder if she would just get tossed by like a force sensitive user like Balon or Shin.
Potentially.
Well, I think in the trailer it looks like she's getting kind of her ass kicked. Yeah. So
I know. No armor, so
no. Looks a sneak attack on the
floor. Well, at least for that scene, I think.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh no. Yeah, she will have armor obviously in the show, but I think
obvious. I'm just saying in that scene.
Yeah, in that scene, yes, absolutely. Yeah,
so definitely sneak.
Well, I think that may even be a scene that she kind of reignites her passion for the search for Ezra, and
I think she really gets messed up.
Haircut.
Yeah.
So, anyways, Ahsoka, big thumbs up from all of us, I think.
Once again, I just want to point out Mon Mothma in the trailer. politics.
Mon Mothma's in the trailer. Very cool.
Hera talking about how we got to expect the worst.
Live action Harrison Dula.
Like, what does that mean? Like, it's just full
live
on
action
Star Wars.
Played by
State of the Galaxy. State of the Galaxy. This is what I've been looking for.
State of the Galaxy.
It's Star Wars.
State of the Empire.
We're getting it's the macro scale. What the hell is going on in Star Wars? And I love that.
Well, no, I think and like the whole thing is like, you know, and this feels like a saga entry, which it does. It's so large. Like this show is carrying so much story, you know. So I'm in for
it's awesome. It's
awesome. I think it will be the best Star Wars show. I'm very confident in that.
I think even with Andor's just absolute Andor is my current favorite Star Wars show, and it's just a masterclass in writing and directing and all those things. Yeah. But that Star Wars, like
we've talked about this. There's a different.
Yeah, it's that Star Wars, like it's that Dave like George X factor that'll make me. I think it might set Ahsoka above.
Yeah, very excited about Ahsoka, but let's move on to Bix. We've been moving about Ahsoka for a bit. Tale, we can mention Tales quick. Tales season 2 is happening. Very excited, thank God. I think that was one of our kind of favorite kind of sleeper hit kind of projects that came out last year. Yeah. I hope it's bigger though. I'm hoping this is not just, you know, little itty bitty stories. I hope, like, you know, I was talking to Corey the other day, and we were saying like, oh, like this, what if this was like a larger, you know, Clone Wars style show instead? You know, if it expands, but it could just be the little stories again.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely was the safe bet. Definitely the safe choice. I know Corey from Convert Call really hoping for Clone Wars season 8.
This is the best we're gonna get. Yeah.
But Tales is fun. The best we're gonna get. I think that hopefully, I don't know. I mean, they didn't say who we're gonna be following. Last year at Celebration, we got to see an entire episode of Tales, and we found out exactly what it was going to be about. So only really can speculate at this point. I would hope to see a Plo Koon or a Mace Windu tale of Jedi. No more Ahsoka. No.
You just want straight Plo Koon? Okay.
Barris.
Yeah.
I think mostly Mace Windu. I want Mace to get like a Dooku story where we maybe see why he is the way he is.
Yeah, I know it's been done to death, but I do want to see Anakin Obi-Wan tale, maybe just one ep kind of thing. I don't know, but I want to see a little bit more of that dynamic.
I just think that they are getting that chance. Their characters are getting a chance to come back, and you know, whether it be Kenobi or potentially Ahsoka. Whereas I just think that Tales is a really unique opportunity to just explore some characters and flesh them out that just, you know, we haven't gotten to see. And even if they, like, you know, my wish list would be they adapt some of the stories from the
Ahsoka's been fleshed out now.
Well, exactly. We wouldn't want more Ahsoka.
We wouldn't want more Ahsoka.
Yeah.
That's exactly my point. So she's getting her chance in a live action show. I'm saying that Tales, leave that to the characters that, you know, like leave it to a Dooku or something. What did even
Yaddle stuff? Just, you know. Last season. No, I agree. I think a Quinlan, a Barris, something like that would be
Quinlan.
Cool.
That's a good call. Oh yeah, Quinlan with the path. That'd be cool if we got like a post Order 66. What's up with Quinlan Voss?
That was one I was thinking about too. But yeah, I mean, I hope it's a potentially bigger show than the last season was. Maybe even more episodes or maybe longer episodes. I don't know. Maybe they switch up.
I think that's a potential because Dave alluded to the fact that it was more
multiple
writers, multiple directors, and he didn't say they were shorts this time.
Yes, he didn't. That's right.
So
we'll see. I hope. Fingers crossed. But excited about Tales.
All we know is that
shorts was always so loose because some of those episodes were basically
like 22 minutes.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
All we know about it is that it was announced. For some of this other stuff we got to talk about, we've actually seen footage. There's some hard data. So to take it back to Andor season 2 had a teaser that we definitely didn't watch. And
I actually unironically have not seen that yet. Actually.
You haven't? Oh, no. It's so good. It is. The full thing is out there too.
Wait, no, it's not good. We didn't see it. We just heard it.
I heard that it was great.
I heard someone told me that it was really good.
Someone told me that it was really, really good.
Told me that it was really, really, really good.
Seeing all the characters come back, and it's just the pacing, the editing of even a trailer from Andor.
Even the trailer.
It's unlike anything else.
And this season's going to be bigger and better than the last.
And
we're literally leading up right into Rogue One, which
just
is
already
exciting.
The inclusion of Ben Mendelsohn as Krennic and K2, like that is enough for me just to.
It's gonna elevate the show. I agree, and I really loved
Bad Batch star Orson Krennic.
The Bad Batch show. I really loved the main stage interview with Tony Gilroy and Diego Luna. I don't know if you guys watched that yet, but that was a great interview, and specifically I loved what Tony was saying just about writing and then the season and just like how they're keeping there's major events that are going on during this timeline. I think, and he's like we're keeping that in mind, and we're gonna see some of those through these characters that we've built. I know that's where I was going with that. Yeah, the Gorman Massacre. Seeing those events through the eyes of these characters, I think is going to be really intriguing as well. And I mean, like this is a season that we could see any face now. Like anybody is
even more so now that the Rebels crew will have been in live action. I think there's
and they were in Rogue One technically, sort of, kind of. Well, Chopper and the Ghost is so.
Yeah. And Hera gets mentioned. We know she's at Yavin. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to imagine Tony like being pressured into including something he doesn't want to. Like, I don't, unless he really feels as though Hera would serve this story. I don't know.
Well, I think the story is the Rebels were there when the Mon Mothma announced the Rebel Alliance. Like they're part of it.
I'm just saying it just wouldn't be a cameo for the sake of it.
They would just be background. Well, no, and I think Andor's done such a good job, and just I mean, obviously not a ton of examples for season 1, but I just like this casualness. Yeah, just the casualness of like people just showing up. Like I think that.
Yeah, but it's also just
in the background.
On the technical side of things, it's not as easy as they're just shooting one lot over. Let's just grab Mary Elizabeth Winstead for a day. She would have to fly across the Atlantic Ocean to go in.
Well,
I mean, I still think that's not very likely.
Because shooting's not done. They're still filming.
Shooting's not
3 more months.
Yeah,
sure.
So that potential is still there.
This is something I was very
Acolyte and Andor are still shooting.
I mean, mid Andor, this is like something I was almost like really pulling for. I think we might see it. Now I'm not so sure. After seeing the way Andor ran its course in season 1, I think it's sort of unlikely. But who knows? I hope so. That would be awesome.
I think season 2 is going to be a lot more expansive. So I think season 1 was a setup season, and then Tony Gilroy was even saying in the interview, season 1 was a setup season. We're getting to know these characters that we're going to be following well into season 2.
What we know about season 2 is that it's going to be multiple arcs, years apart. Years apart.
Jump a year every arc there. Yeah, I mean, same as season 1. I don't know. I am thoroughly excited. We're all big Andor fans.
Andor season 2 is the sleeper announcement of Celebration, because it was like the first thing they talked about, and I think it got swept under the rug with it's like Skeleton Crew, Acolyte, new stuff, and then movies.
Well, not the hype stuff, but
coming August 2024 is when.
Yeah.
No, I mean, but like I'm hyped for Andor. Just I know it's gonna be great, but it's not like the hype show. It's just like that's what
I was saying.
Great.
Yes, I just want to.
Yeah. 2024.
I have no doubt in the creative, so it's going to be a great show.
Oh, so Tales I assume is going to be 2024. So
not necessarily.
Yeah,
I think it'll come out later this year.
Could be.
I feel like maybe we would have gotten.
I feel like we would have gotten a little info.
2023.
Not necessarily. Think about it. Last year it was end of May. We heard about Tales 1, and then it was pushed until November.
We've heard about Tales 1, but we also got a Shonen episode.
Exactly, and they were a month. It was like 2 months after where we are now. So we could in 2 months on May 4th they could say
it's true. May 4th they may announce something.
Hey, coming out this fall.
If we can sort of try to track when a release date would be, even though they don't really seem to care about mixing animation with live action. In a perfect world, they wouldn't do it on the same notes, because Tales came out during an Andor episode.
Andor, right?
So, yeah. But if Ahsoka
I cannot stand that.
If Ahsoka is in August, and it's going to be, assuming it's another 8-episode season, it'll be running
that would be a cool combo
until October, and then we're going to have pretty much November open, and then assuming that Skeleton Crew does make it in that 2023 slot, which I'm not confident it will.
December.
But if it does, it's going to be the very end of December, like Boba.
Yeah.
And as a very family oriented show, definitely more.
Ally of the show John Watts,
age appropriate, Ally of the show John Watts, Ally of the pod. I could that is like you market that for Thanksgiving time, Christmas time, like that hits huge.
The family show,
because
Family,
having
definitely
having definitely not seen the trailer for it, I can tell you
you do not watch it, you do not screen record it or see it anywhere.
I can tell you that people told
just
me
heard about
that I mean, there's literally shots in it where they're in, the space garage, they're in the Star Wars suburbs, but instead of a bunch of kids riding their bikes out, it's speeder bikes. Like it is literally, it's straight up the shots. It's like ET, man. Like
Stranger Things.
I mean, there was kind of like an ET.
Yeah,
shot.
Obviously, Stranger Things is inspired by, the movies that literally Kathy made that she is making the show. Which is the interesting part about this is Kathy is the most. They've said Kathy has been the most creatively involved with Skeleton Crew than any of these shows.
For better or worse. That's not going to please some people.
But I know, but it makes sense. Like Kathy was produced. She's the producer on ET. She made these Amblin films that this movie is now
this show
a call back to. So
yeah.
it makes sense that she would be like would have something to say there because those movies
definitely up on Skeleton Crew.
Yeah, we have I think as a channel been very harsh on the show.
Well, made fun of it a lot. Version. That's when
it's just been sort of a meme for a while. And it's like, what is this show? Like Jude Law, like what's going on here?
Chip's creator John Watts.
But
Chip's creator John Watts.
Say, I've heard that the trailer is very good. So
we heard in this trailer too, Jude Law seems to be a Force user. He's floating stuff around. He's got a lightsaber.
He's floating.
He's floating. Like, who is this guy? Like, this is a new. Like, is he a Jedi? Is he just a Force user who has?
So I think we're gonna see. I think we're gonna see Luke and Skeleton Crew.
With the kids angle of it,
with the kids
could end up
with the kid angle. Like they could very well be Force sensitive.
Could end up at the temple. Yeah,
I think we're getting. I think we're getting a time.
Also in the trailer, or not in the trailer, or in the trailer we didn't see. Our joke, all of our collective joke, absolutely came true. Vane is in it. The pirates from Mando 3.
Is in it? Yeah.
So they literally did just blast off to go be in Skeleton Crew.
Yeah, once again, dude, people are always got Boba at the end of season 2, a Mando just going off into hyperspace to go be in his after credit scene. No, Vane's
Vane's like,
oh man,
I gotta go be in
Skeleton Crew. Who would have thought? Yeah.
Well, who'd have thought? Us immediately.
Actually, within 1 second,
within about 10 seconds of film on screen, go, that guy's in Skeleton
Crew.
Oh yeah.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Actually, yeah,
that's a good point. That's a good point.
Still, though, it looks way better.
It's fun. It is funny that that's how that works.
We were giving it, we were kind of, as Ben was saying, kind of down on it, but it doesn't look not in the same way that Andor is. But surprisingly, because it was an LA production, on the volume, it looks entirely different visually, though. Nothing like,
it looks really, really good.
Nothing like the other shows.
Looks very good.
I think I've been really impressed with like just the look of all the trailers, like just visually. Like I think the visual variety in these trailers have been really cool too.
We've heard. And so the general plot structure we've heard looks like there's parents of some foster orphans who I think are fostered from like the Galactic Civil War, which is a cool concept. Like after the war, there's all these orphan kids, and they have four children. This couple. And like in the trailer, we heard that they're going through the rooms, like, where are our kids? And the kids are running away, like they got in trouble for something, and then they accidentally somehow end up stealing a ship, and on that ship is how they get involved with Jude Law, and the pirates start chasing them, and then they get launched off into this adventure, and their parents are also like chasing them across the galaxy, as are these pirates. And like I don't know, it's just it's interesting to see this
Goonies type vibe, I guess.
Just well, it's interesting to see how. Because they keep telling us this will tie in outside of just the pirates being there. How is this going to connect to Mandoverse? That's what I'm interested in.
Well, I think what we just said is the Luke's Academy
sensitive aspect.
Yeah,
something about it is giving me the like Children of the Force sort of like vibe to it, where I think these kids are going to end up being Force sensitive, and
maybe talk about Hu Yang. Hu Yang could probably be there. Holy shit, I didn't even think about that.
I know.
Because Ahsoka, we didn't talk about it. David Tennant back as Hu Yang. Why wouldn't he be?
Yes. We could even have an app where they, get their lightsabers. We don't, or maybe not all of them are Force sensitive. I don't know how that would quite work, but
in this, I mean, the whole holocron thing with, the children being out there, big plot in Fallen Order. It's just like it's been sort of a consistent thread throughout Star Wars, and I think
since Clone Wars,
we might be picking up with that. Yeah, it was since Children of the Force, and I think we might be picking up with that on in Skeleton Crew, which that sounds, because we always thought it was going to be a High Republic show, and all these kids were going to be Jedi.
Yes. Yeah.
So obviously that is not.
Which they still could be, but
well, that show is still exists and it's still happening. It's called The Acolyte. Let's transition. Our final show we got to talk about here. Another trailer we didn't see, but
we didn't see.
Like it's straight up. You're in the Jedi Temple, training. It's full on, like it's like the prequels. It's the prequels. It's the High Republic. It's amazing.
Shots, yeah. Like
it's the High Republic that I've read in the books brought to life. Literally characters. Vernestra Rwoh. I can't believe this. A character from the novels already, 2-year turnaround in live action, an older version of the character. That is incredibly impressive levels of synergy. They got the robes down. They got the whole thing is looking amazing.
And it looks great. And I'm actually very surprised that we've gotten a whole trailer. I know it wasn't public, but what they put together, I mean, this is a show that's probably about a year from coming out. Yeah. Like I would probably guess right around April 2024.
Yeah, I'd say that about So I'd put it probably at the February-March, the Mando date this year.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like it depends when Skeleton Crew starts. I mean, if Skeleton Crew is going in on like the 31st.
True.
I think April sounds
February. Like they're gonna usually space it out by like a month. So
yeah,
March
maybe.
Right. I think you're right. Probably about a year away. Yeah.
March.
Either way,
but I think Levi, you have the best insight because you've been, you're up to date with the High Republic stuff. But yeah, I mean, like like I said, the synergy. That seems really, really cool. They're taking all the book stuff and they're putting it in the show. I mean, obviously
the High Republic stuff will be wrapped up by then, right? Because they're
by then, correct. This is the end.
Their final phase.
So what I think what you're crossing some wires there. What is true is that this show will take place after all the stuff is wrapped up, meaning in the timeline this takes place after all that.
I thought
this is, I mean, no fault of your own, they literally just announced this I think earlier today, because Celebration is still going on as we're recording this, but the final phase of the like three phases of High Republic will end in the beginning of 2025. So through 2024 we're finishing phase 3 and then it ends. So this show will be airing during when we're still
I knew they were entering the final phase, but I thought
does that that's interesting that they're gonna still have.
Well,
it takes place after. So.
Yeah, it's gonna be mostly unrelated.
No, I know that's what I'm saying, but I feel like there's. Already showing the end. Already showing the end of that story.
No characters seem. Well, I don't think it's a continuation of the story. I don't.
It's a long time.
Not so much, but
it's like 150
what's the
years.
gap?
A lot of time.
I didn't know that. Okay, that makes sense.
Actually, no, sorry, not 150. It's like 100.
100. A lot of time.
And that too. I mean, we're talking about before, but I'm even interested about the stuff that we because Leslie Headland, she had a great interview at the main stage as well.
Yeah, Leslie. Every time Leslie talks about Star Wars, I love it, man.
I love her.
She's awesome.
Great. But Phantom Menace, like she was emphasizing, this is
TPM, yeah.
This is what is in the middle ground between High Republic and Phantom Menace, and I'm really excited to see what the prequel influences are there. Like how much of the faces that we've seen in Phantom Menace, are going to be in this as well. I mean, I do think Yoda is pretty safe to say at some point we'll see him in the show, and whoever else we certainly don't know. But I mean, Acolyte was one of the ones, even just back in Investors Day, that I was like, oh, this could be really cool, and so far it's shaping up to be really cool. And this weekend they've been really emphasizing this pitch where it's like a Frozen mixed with Kill Bill, which dope. Very in for that. And there was even in the trailer there was some Kill Bill kind of moments, which I really.
Well, liked. I think the plot that's been talked about is that Carrie-Anne Moss, who is obviously Matrix, extremely talented.
Yeah.
Trinity, extremely talented with stunt work. She doesn't have a lightsaber. You see this in the trailer. She only uses the Force. She's and there's this person who's coming for her. This is the Kill Bill element. she, as a Jedi, wronged this person way in the past. Sort of, honestly, it's like the Trace and Rafa story, except if Trace and Rafa became like insane killers when Luminara like was like let their parents die. That's literally the plot. But I think what the rumor is that Amanda Stenberg, who came out dressed as Padme, it was great. She plays.
Oh yeah, she was great.
Two twins. She plays both characters. One of them gets taken.
Wait, I didn't know. I don't think I knew that.
One of them gets taken by the Jedi. One of them gets left behind, and like, when Carrie-Anne Moss or the Jedi character came into their life, and one of them, presumably the one who will connect to the Sith somehow, the acolyte, is like dead set on killing this Jedi. Who
I did not know that she's playing two characters.
It's not. It's been rumored and speculated.
Okay. I think the fact that she said Kill Bill, which is that, and then Frozen, which is the sister thing, like that is the plot.
She said that. She
said Kill Bill and Frozen, and
that's really it's even more intriguing than I thought. Yeah. I didn't realize that. I didn't know that. No, that's insane. Yeah, it's insane. I think this is gonna be a hit show. This is like one of my most excited about shows for a long time, and I think it's gonna. Everything looks great so far. I don't know. I not much to say. I mean,
and Yoda.
The trailer that we didn't see is definitely good.
And Yoda.
And Yoda. And like I'm just curious. Because this is Episode 1 Puppet Yoda.
I mean, that'd be crazy.
We gotta add that to the Yoda tier list.
Acolyte tier list.
It's gonna be a new Yoda. I mean, he's gonna look young and spry.
Yeah.
Well,
did you guys see the? No, he's gonna look like the. What's the
700
show?
Right?
No, this takes place 100 years before.
It's 100. Okay.
Yeah,
that's what's why the High Republic kid show called?
Oh, Jedi Temple or no. Jedi Adventures. Jedi Adventures.
Jedi Adventures. Yeah, it's gonna look like that Yoda.
Yeah. Well, as Levi mentioned, Celebration is also still happening. So, in just about 3 hours as of recording this, the Bad Batch panel will be going on, in which I think might as well just say now that Bad Batch season 3 is, almost a lock. They're not gonna end it like they did.
Not Wen said it. So
Wen said it already. It was funny.
And like I would be like, how could they not?
So. Well, I mean, that would just be the most horrible, sad ending. And
ending on where season 2 ended.
So
pretty crazy.
Might as well just talk about that as something that is obviously just gonna happen. Probably like well under development too. So
yeah,
I have
very
a feeling
excited.
There would be a trailer, honestly, a public trailer for season 3.
You think? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we had talked about this after Bad Batch ended.
2 got delayed literally a year. Like they had so much.
I know.
We were thinking, they're gonna have a a fall release date, pretty much like today.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no, I'm very excited. I mean, obviously, I think we need a continuation for season 3. I think this is gonna be the Return of the Jedi season. I don't think it's gonna end as nicely as the Return of the Jedi did. When all is said and done, because the clones seem very disbanded by when we see Rebels. I mean, we don't even see the Bad Batch crew, so we don't even know if they are alive at that point. So I'm very much looking forward to see how it all wraps up, though. I think season 2. I think we all love season 2. Very, very big. I love season 2 more than season 1. So I'm very excited for season 3. I
think we're all big season 2.
No tech though. No tech though.
Well,
all right.
Flashback
maybe, but
yeah. Well, we debate.
I don't. Come on. I don't.
I'm on team. I'm on team. He's alive, but I want him to be dead.
He outie.
That's my stance too. But I think he's alive. I don't know. We'll have to see in season 3.
We'll see. Season 3. Very excited though.
I think that is everything. That is eight projects.
There's any
8 projects announced
over the
course of one stream, which was crazy. It just 8 projects.
The Lucasfilm showcase was awesome. I mean, I'll throw it out there because we were talking about it earlier before we were recording. But Indy 5 new trailer. Ben and I
like this one. I like this one better than
I was a little bit on the trailer. I thought the music choice was kind of odd.
In combination with the new poster and the
poster is so good.
And some footage that came out.
Great.
They showed about 10 minutes of the middle of the movie in there, and apparently it was amazing. This is actually stuff I actually for sure have not seen. That I'm not kidding.
We have not.
But I actually do hear that it was really, really good. So I'm just excited about it. I'm getting excited.
Indy 5. Indy 5.
Like the line. I'm sorry. The line. Mads Mikkelsen delivering the line like Hitler made mistakes. It's like so funny. Yes. Like it's such an indie line. It's like okay, all right, guy. Like all right, Nazi. He's like Hitler made mistakes. It's like no shit.
All right, Nazi guy.
I am cautiously optimistic.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just optimistic at this point. I was where Ben was before. This trailer moved me to just straight up optimism. I'm excited for this movie because they're so confident in it. Once again, that they gave James a Star Wars.
James a Star Wars, and he also is doing something. But I'm trying to. I don't think it's one or the other. I'm trying to think. Anything else you want to mention from Celebration? Oh, Black Series. Hasbro killed it this weekend.
No, we're not doing an action figure thing.
That's all I'll say. That's all I'll say. That's all I'll say. That's all I'll say.
I don't know. I don't even think we talked about the movies enough, but
I agree.
Movies excited.
We talked about Ahsoka the most. That's because Ahsoka is the closest thing.
Yeah, I just think just more so the fact that we're returning to the big screen and the fact that I was never really interested in Star Wars being a television only like franchise, and
now we're gonna get both.
I've really missed the movies, so like easily the most thing I'm excited for is 2025 around Christmas, waltzing into that theater and watching a Star Wars movie,
watching Rey on the big screen, and we got like. We have like Ahsoka season 2 on and Acolyte season 2.
Vibes.
Yeah, I can't imagine. Dude. I mean, the All New Nerds have never lived through a Star Wars movie. Like
that's true.
The
not
channel.
Together anyway. Yeah.
No,
it's not.
That's true.
Hasn't happened. So it's going to be another 2 years, 2.5 years. But
we'll wait.
We'll wait. We'll be in, podcast number 200 by then.
200. We'll be around.
Something like that. We'll be around. But yeah, thank you guys for watching this pod. I think Celebration's got a glowing review. We obviously weren't there, but it seemed like it was fun. However, I'm glad we didn't go because it seemed like there was
looks like hell.
Looks like a lot of people.
Yeah, way too many people for the conference.
Thank you guys. Be sure to subscribe and video. It helps us a lot. And be sure to check out our previous episode where Levi interviewed none other than Brendan Wayne,
the Mandalorian
himself. So
and he may not be coming back. Sometime soon.
Something like that. All right. Bye, guys.